Hey guys, Account Second here. This is the intro video for Season 15 of the NASCAR Bull Mud Cup Series. We're using a brand new mod this season. It's called the Gen 6 Bullring Cup 2015 mod. It is almost similar to, it's almost similar to the mod we used last season, which was the Gen 6 mod, but with 2015 cars. But this one is the 2015 mod with some improvements. And some paint scheme differences and like some tweaks into the cars and all that stuff. So we're basically using almost the same car set, but in a different looking mod. And I do apologize if my voice sounds a little weird. I'm just battling through a bit of a cold, and I'm I'm just getting better right now. So I do apologize if my voice sounds a little funny. And if you hear me clear my throat a couple times in this video, but I'm just trying to make it through. But anyway, here are the drivers that are going to be in Season 15 of the Bull Mud Cup Series. Now, before I begin, there were a lot of users signed up than ever before, believe it or not. And I wasn't able to get every user into the series because I had to make some exceptions, and I had to, take liberties and such sorts. But, there were some users that commented below that didn't get a ride. I tried the very best to get you guys a ride, open rides that were available for the ones that were early, and I tried to do all that. So I did fill up the rosters, and if you're not in this, if you're not in the series at all, I do apologize. But there were a lot more users that signed up than I think I've ever had since it's the 15th anniversary season. So everyone wanted to be a part of it, and I see why. But I wasn't able to get every driver who tried to sign up into a ride, you see. So I will do the best I can for the ones who missed out on signups to have some sort of a ride somewhere in the season. Not right now immediately, but somewhere, if I could possibly try to find something for them. But maybe, you'll see. But anyway, these are the drivers that are locked and secured and will be racing in Season 15 of the Bull Mud Cup Series. Here are the cars and here are the drivers for Season 15. We begin with the Ganassi Racing 1 of Jonny Gardner, one of the Final 5 competitors last season. Then it's the Team Penske number 2, Dillon Young, another Final 5 competitor, followed by the Pichu Cup winner, Richard Childress Racing number 3, Deon Scott. And then it's the Stewart-Haas Racing number 4, Jacob Lawlor. And then it's the Hendrick Motorsports number 5, Mitchell Riggs. It was originally going to be O'Neal Balvin, but he has voluntarily given up his spot for Mitchell Riggs. In the number 6, another Final 4 competitor, Roush Fenway Racing 6, Hierjel Alonso. For Tommy Baldwin Racing, number 7, the car that won the Daytona 500 last season, Alex Hawkins. In Richard Petty Motorsports, number 9, which was driven last year by Daniel Coffey, it's now this year's going to be Justin Roberds. For Stewart-Haas Racing, number 10, Nick Pericles. Only one team from Nick Pericles will be participating this season. Nick is the only one. Another Final 5 competitor for Joe Gibbs Racing, number 11, Isaiah Burniche. And returning from the series after a couple seasons off and being part-time in the past couple seasons, for Germain Racing, number 13, Seth Cole. Stewart-Haas Racing, number 14, returning as well from a few seasons' absence, George Roke. Michael Waltrip Racing, number 15, Cooper Syron. A rookie for number 16 for Roush Fenway Racing, Joseph Srigley in the Roush Fenway 16 Orthrop Fire Ant Killer. Joseph Srigley will be a rookie, and if I pronounced that name right, then good for me, but if I didn't, let me know in the comments below. In the number 17, Roush Fenway number 17, Angel Navarro, last year's Daytona 500 winner, is in a new ride this season. For Joe Gibbs Racing, number 18, and returning from his ride, this same ride last season, Philip Goldberg. For Joe Gibbs Racing, number 19, Luke Walker. For Joe Gibbs Racing as well, number 20, Cody Hagen. Another rookie for Wood Brothers Racing, number 21, Anthony Marchesi. I couldn't fit his entire name. I came up just a letter short of filling his entire name. As you see, we're trying to add an I there, and I honestly can't fit it. So, I have to deal with Anthony Marchesi. but it is Anthony Marchesi. I will try to pronounce it as Anthony Marchesi during the races. So I couldn't fit one. I just missed on one letter fitting the entire name, so I do apologize for that. Anyway, for Penske Racing, number 22, Benjamin Miles. For BK Racing in a new ride, number 23, Daniel Coffey. In Hendrick Motorsports, number 24, Nathan Hudson. Also for Hendrick Motorsports, number 25, a rookie, Aaron Lukewarm. For BK Racing, number 26, Avi Saks. Richard Childress Racing, number 27, Alex Ragau. For Richard Childress Racing, also, number 31, DJ Kurtis. He's coming back after a few seasons' absence. In Richard Childress Racing, again, Richard Childress Racing, number 33, Leia Walker. In Front Row Motorsports, in the number 34, Jordan Davis. Mr. Yamp is back, former champion, and our defending series champion for Front Row Motorsports, number 35, Devin Witson. And then one Powers will compete this season. Only one will compete for Front Row Motorsports, number 38, Eric Powers. And for Stewart-Haas Racing, number 41, Ryan Kasey, another rookie this season. For Earnhardt Ganassi Racing, number 42, Joshua Balkin. For Richard Petty Motorsports, number 43, Dylan Theroux. Triple Extreme Motorsports, number 44, Sam Rogers. JTG Daughtry Racing, number 47, Connor Breton. Hendrick Motorsports, number 48, David Johansson. H. Scott Motorsports, number 51, Brandon Nichols. Michael Waltrip Racing, number 55, Anthony Lopez. Furniture Row Racing, number 78, Zach Goldbeck. He's back in the series after a long hiatus. And our last rookie in the group for Hendrick Motorsports, number 88, Chloe Baker. In Levine Family Racing, number 95, Daniel Boyles. And last but not least for Roush Fenway Racing, number 99, Pete Chu. And that is your roster for Season 15 of the NASCAR Pole 1 Cup Series. Now let's reveal the schedule. Alrighty guys, here's your schedule for Season 15. A couple new races and a couple races being swapped back from the chase into the season and all that stuff. So let's go through the schedule one by one. It all starts, as you know, as always, it starts in the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. We'll use the same Daytona we had used last season, the newest one from 2014. And that's sure to be fun with a new mod, so we can't wait for the season to start at Daytona. Then we go to Rockingham, but not in the UK version. We're actually going to North Carolina's Rockingham. The Rock in North Carolina will host the Subway 400, and that'll be race number 2. And then it's race number 3, the Drive for the Cure 300, which will take place in Charlotte Motor Speedway. And then another Sprint Cup track will host the Breaking Bad 500. It's Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's coming back in the schedule. Then our first dual races are going to be in the Foster Farms 250 at Levi Strauss Speedway. If you don't know what dual races are, it is 2 races in one weekend in one track, and each race will have 21 drivers. So the points will be set up to 1st to 21st in both races, and that does allow other drivers to get a lot of more points than usual, to catch up to other competitors or just fall behind the dust, whatever. So it makes things more interesting. Makes the points more closer, but wins matter. So winning gets you into the chase. But if we have not a lot of winners, then the points would get intense by the dual races. So if you don't know what dual races are, I just explained it to you. Anyway, next after that, we head to the Lego Mixels 500 from Blue Ridge Speedway. Another long-time track returns for the Coca-Cola Freestyle 500. It's Coca-Cola Super Speedway. Then it's followed by the Furious 7 500 from Zombie Spaceport. That's an out-of-this-world track, and you'll see what I'm talking about when we get to Zombie Spaceport. And then we head to Batman Arkham Knight 500 at Armory Digital Super Speedway. Last season, it was an all-star weekend track, and now it's going to be in the schedule. It's now here to stay on the schedule, so that'll be fun. followed by the STP 400, but not at Kansas Speedway. We're going to be taking it to Gateway International Raceway, and that is going to be fun because it's a brand new Gateway. I did try it out with the NASCAR Pro Series and actually did pretty well in racing, so I figured why not add Gateway to the stock car schedule. But anyway, and then after that it sets to Pensacola, the Blue Wahoos 400. Pensacola will be now a regular season race, and that's sure to please a lot of drivers in Florida. And then last but not least, we head to Talladega Super Speedway, the Game of Thrones 500. And then begins our World Tour, which will be going back to the World Tour name. It'll be called World Tour 15. It was called World Course Tour. Well, we've added some super speedways into the mix, so we're back with super speedways. So we're bringing the World Tour name back and calling it World Tour 15. So the World Tour 15 begins in Germany in the Veltins Arena, which will host the Veltins Mud Bowl. Veltins Arena, small track. I think there's not going to be any cautions. I've got to run a couple tests of Veltins before I can find a liking for the stock cars. And I do know it runs well, but I have to see what's the best racing for it. So I'm going to do a couple tests for Veltins. Hopefully it won't be very bad. So anyway. And then after that, the next two races in the tour are in Japan. First up, it's the Pomon TV 300 from Twingrin Motegi, followed by the F1 2015 Grand Prix from Suzuka Circuit. The Grand Prix will have two dual races, as with Levi's. And then another two pairs of dual races in South Africa and Kyalami for the Littlest Pet Shop 250. And then the Matryoshka 200 from the Mykovo Airport in Russia. It'll be the first time Pomon Cup Series races in Russia, which we're excited to do. And that's followed by the Harley-Davidson Bikes 300 at Bikerneki in Latvia. At an unknown track in Latvia, Bikerneki. I hope you probably have not heard about it, but it's in Latvia. That's the first time we'll ever race it. I found a version of it in NN Racing. I'm not sure if it's still up, but you could find Bikerneki and NN Racing, some sort of that, but you'll have to look for it long and hard like I did. But anyway, followed by that, we have the Shell 250 returning to Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. It's going to be fun and returning to Belgium. Then it's the Red Bull Toro Rosso 300 from Austria's Österreich Ring, or the Red Bull Ring as we prefer to call it. And then it's followed by the Santander Showdown. It's returning back to Rockingham, UK. The Rockingham you know and love from the United Kingdom is coming back, and it's going to probably be better than ever. So, and then after that, the last three World Tour races are in Canada, up north. First up, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park hosts the Cars.com 250. Then it's the Impact de Montreal 300 from Circuit Gillies Villeneuve. And finally, the last race before the chase, the Turn of Death 500 at 349. If you have not raced in that course, you're going to see why it is the toughest road course in the world. Especially with one particular turn, I like to call it the Turn of Death, where it's a 50-50 shot for these leaders to get through the Turn of Death without losing grip. But anyway, and then after that, our 10-race chase begins after the World Tour. But before the chase begins, we have our All-Star race. This season, it's going to be at Texas Motor Speedway. We'll host the All-Star Weekend festivities, be after World Tour 15, but before the chase. And then the chase begins at Homestead, Miami for the Xbox 400. Then it's followed by the Cancer Treatment Centers of America 400 from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Last time we've been to Vegas was, I think, in Season 3, but that was for a last chance qualifier race there. But now it's back as a chase race with a new version of Las Vegas I found. So I'm happy with the new version of Vegas. Can't wait to share it with you guys. And then after that, Orlando City SC 400 from Orlando Motor Speedway. It is the track that goes in the opposite direction. It is an oval. It's a super speedway, but it goes in the opposite direction than what NASCAR usually does. So that'll be a very, very fun race at Orlando. And then it's followed by Open Roads, the road course, the big, gigantic road course we went to last season, which it had a lot of wrecks and only a few drivers made it out. So with 5 laps of caution-free racing. we're going to reduce that a bit, and hopefully that'll be a lot better than it was last season. Then we'll have Then we head back to Darlington Raceway for the Bojangles Southern 500. I think the last time I went to Darlington was back in season 7, but I decided to bring it back to the schedule because it had a great finish in the NASCAR Pro Series last time, and I think it was a mistake leaving out Darlington for it, so Darlington's coming back. And then it's Lime Rock Park in Connecticut for the ShopRite from Home 400. And then followed by the Mountain Dew Solar Flare Brickyard 400 from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Then it's Texas Motor Speedway's chase race, the I Say 500. Yes, I'm using that name. If you don't know where that name comes from, I think it was from a Fox Sports 1 report segment about the race names. They were talking about the SpongeBob SquarePants 400 race name at Kansas, and they just made up their own names for other tracks. And one of them was the I Say 500, the Texas Motor Speedway. So I decided to use that for the Paul Mudd Cup Series race. That's followed by the Super Snack 500. And finally, it all wraps up in the championship race at Zanjoltis. And finally, we have the chase. There will be 16 cars in the chase unless if there are changes at the last minute or something like that. Every 3 races, the bottom 4 are eliminated, all leading up to the championship at Zanjoltis. 4 competitors remain in the championship. The highest finisher of the 4 in that race will be declared your Season 15 champion. So we're using the current chase format in case if you already know. in case if you don't already know we're using the current chase format that they currently use, where a win gets you into the chase, almost. Just one more look at the car rosters before we go. And, yeah, that's all you pretty much need to know in Paul Mudd Cup Series Season 15. One more thing is that we're making, well, if you spoil just one time during any time of the season, during any part of the season, you will be suspended for the next race I have not done yet. So you will be suspended for that, and you will lose your chase spot, no exceptions. And because of Hierjel Alonso's controversy that he got back into the chase last season, once you're out of the chase, you cannot get back into the chase, even if you forgave yourself. Even with a win, even if you get another win during the season, if you spoil just once, you will lose your chase spot and be suspended for a race or 2. And once you're reinstated, you will not be able to get back into the chase, even if you have another win this season. So I'm making that rule very clear, very, very clear for our rookies. If you spoil just once, you'll be suspended for a race or 2 for the next race I haven't done yet, and you will lose your chase spot. And when you get reinstated back, when you get back into racing, you will not be able to get back into the chase. Once, even if you have another win later in the season, you will not be able to get back in the chase. No exceptions. So I'm making that new rule very, very clear. And it was a 3-strike policy, but it's now a 2-strike policy. The first time is a warning from now on if you spoil a race. And now the second time you spoil a race, you will lose your ride. Again, if you spoil a second time, even after I give you a warning the first time by suspending you for a race or 2 and losing your chase spot, revoking your chase spot, if you spoil a second time, you will lose your ride for the rest of the season. So I'm making the spoiling rule more stricter. The no spoiler rule, a lot more stricter. So I hope you guys got all of that, just to be very clear. But anyway, good luck to everybody coming for Season 15. We will see you guys in a week or so. I'm starting to start the race next Monday if I have the time, but I can't make promises for whatever reason. But I'll let you know. So anyway, this is the account second here. Good luck to everybody. I'll see you later.